Welcome to Data Strategic Advantage Channel. Our topic today is reference and master data.
A really crucial one.
Absolutely. Think about just how much data is zipping around any organization daily.
It's overwhelming sometimes.
Right. And a huge challenge is having the same piece of information, described just slightly differently depending on where you look.
Data multiplicity. We see it everywhere.
Exactly. And that's really where the push for consistency comes from. Technology's great. It lets us do so much more with data.
Building products, sharing knowledge.
Improving how the whole organization runs. But it also kind of amplifies the problem if the foundations aren't solid.
That's the perfect way to put it. If you really want to leverage all that transactional data, the day-to-day business records, you absolutely have to get a handle on your reference and master data first.
Because that's what builds the trust.
Precisely. High quality, consistent reference and master data. That's your foundation for confidence in all your data initiatives.
Okay, so for this deep dive, our mission is really to unpack what reference data and master data actually are and, why they matter so much.
Let's do it. Maybe start with the idea that different data has different jobs to do.
Makes sense.
So reference data. Think of this as the data you use purely to characterize other data, or maybe to link your internal stuff to information outside the company.
Like lookup tables, codes, and descriptions.
Exactly like that. Code list, descriptions. The key things here are consistency, keeping it current.
And knowing where it came from, right, the source.
Yes, the metadata, including the source, is vital.
So it's not just flat lists, it can have some structure.
Oh, definitely. It can be simple, like you said, a list of valid country codes. Straightforward.
Right.
But it can also be more complex. Think about U.S. states. You've got the two-letter postal code everyone knows.
Right.
But there's also a FIPS-S numeric code and an ISO standard code, which actually includes the country reference, too.
So different levels of detail, kind of granularity.
Exactly. Different granularity for different needs, and maybe relationships between them. Multi-language product descriptions are another example. Structure's key there, too.
Interesting. So where does this stuff actually originate?
Couple of main places. It might come from external industry standard sources, authoritative bodies.
Like ISO codes you
The
meant.
perfect example. But then organizations also create and maintain plenty of reference data internally.
Okay, like internal codes for things.
Right, maybe product categories, sales regions, things like that. The challenge there often is figuring out which internal source is the true one, and then getting everyone to agree to, manage it centrally. It's often scattered.
I can imagine. So you've got industry standards, internal lists, any other types?
Well, you often see things like third-party business directories used as reference or foreign exchange rates pulled in. Specific marketing data sometimes fits here too. And don't forget geographic or geostatistical data.
For location-based analysis.
Exactly. Classifying or analyzing things based on geography.
Okay, so reference data is like the context layer, the what and where that helps define other data. What about master data then?
Master data. This is the information about your core business entities, the absolutely critical stuff that must be consistent everywhere.
Core entities.
Think about parties. That means individuals, organizations, and their roles. Customers, suppliers, employees.
Got it.
Then products and services, what you sell, what you buy. Financial structures are key master data 2 contracts, your chart of accounts in the general ledger.
Makes sense.
And locations. Physical addresses, maybe GPS coordinates, site information. These are the nouns of your business, really.
So if I have, say, a customer address in my sales system and also in my shipping item, the master data concept means that address should be identical, the same address.
Precisely. That's the goal. Which brings us to the idea of a system of record.
The single source of truth.
Exactly that. It's the designated authoritative source where a specific piece of master data is created or maintained. And then you have the system of reference, which is more about how you share that authoritative master data across the organization so everyone can use the same consistent version.
Right. One source, many consistent views. So how do you actually make that happen? Managing master data sounds like a big job.
It is. It's a discipline, really. That's master data management, or MDM.
MDM.
MDM is all about establishing control over those master data values and their identifiers. The whole point is to make sure that when different systems or people talk about customer X or product Y, they mean the exact same real-world thing.
Avoiding ambiguity?
Reducing ambiguity, ensuring accuracy, timeliness, getting rid of confusingly different IDs for the same entity.
So MDM helps create that single, reliable version of the truth for these core things.
Yes, and it really stresses that the definitions and the data values need to make sense for the whole business, not just in the context of, say, the one system where it originated.
So even if two systems call a field customer name,
Exactly. MDM ensures the format, the rules, the actual content is standardized at that higher organizational level.
and the payoff, what are the benefits?
They're significant when it's done well, and crucially, when the master data is actually used. You see improved operational efficiency, fewer errors, less cleaning up data,
Right.
higher data quality overall because everyone's using trusted data. And that often leads to better customer service because you have that single unified view of the customer.
Those are big wins. So what are the main activities involved in doing MDM?
There are a few core components.
Yeah.
First, data standardization and enrichment.
Cleaning things up.
Yeah, cleaning, formatting data to meet agreed standards. Standardizing addresses is a classic one, or phone number formats, making sure it's all consistent.
Okay, what else?
Then there's entity resolution and identifier management. This is a big one. It's figuring out if different records, maybe from different systems, actually refer to the same real-world thing.
Like matching John Smith at 123 Main St. with J. Smith at 123 Main Street?
Precisely that kind of problem. You might have Acme Corp in one system and Acme Corporation in another. Are they the same?
How do you figure that in?
Usually with algorithms, they can be deterministic based on strict rules, like if the tax ID matches exactly, it's the same entity.
Okay, clear rules.
Or they can be probabilistic.
Yeah.
These use scoring based on similarities across multiple fields, name, address, phone, etc., to calculate the likelihood of a match.
Sounds complex.
It can be. And you need to regularly revisit those match rules, tweak them as data changes.
So find the duplicates, link them together.
Right. And that leads to the next part. Master data ID management. Once you've resolved entities, MDM systems often assign a unique global ID.
One ID to rule them all.
Sort of. A single identifier for that unique customer or product within the MDM hub.
Yeah.
And it also manages the cross-reference information, or XREF.
Which is?
That maps the new global ID back to all the original IDs that entity had in the different source systems, so you maintain the lineage.
Wow, okay. That does sound like a significant undertaking.
Yeah.
What should companies think about before jumping into MDM?
Good question. Lots of considerations. How will systems actually consume or share this master data? What specific MDM tools are needed? That depends a lot on business intents and the existing IT setup. How many source systems are involved? What platforms are they on? The organization size, its geographic spread. That all matters. And the integration approach, how will the MDM system actually connect with everything else?
Lots to plan for. Okay, let's switch back to reference data for a moment. What are the key management activities there?
Similar drivers, really. Operational efficiency, better data quality are usually top of the list.
So you start by defining why you need it.
Exactly. Define the drivers, the requirements. Which business processes depend on this specific reference data set? What accuracy level is needed? Then, like with MDM, identifying the sources is crucial.
Easier for industry standards, you said.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
For internal reference data, though, you might have multiple potential sources already existing. So you need to compare them, assess their quality, their reliability, and then, importantly, get the owners of those sources to buy into the benefits of managing it centrally.
Show them the value of one consistent version versus, 5 conflicting ones.
That's the goal, gaining that agreement.
What about when reference data changes? That must happen.
All the time. Managing change is critical. It can be minor stuff, updating a description for a code, or it can be major structural revisions.
Like?
Well, a big historical example is the breakup of the Soviet Union that required massive changes to country code lists. Or think about annual updates to healthcare codes like ICD-10. Those can impact systems significantly.
Right. Different scales of change.
Definitely. And organizations need to define service levels, too. How will the reference data be provided?
Yeah.
What content? How often updated? What quality controls?
And how do you know if you're doing a good job managing it? Metrics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need metrics for reference. Data quality, accuracy, completeness, consistency are key. Also track the change rate, how often it's updated. and monitor how easily and reliably it's being ingested or consumed by the systems that need it. Service level agreements, SLAs, are important here too, for both providers and consumers of the data.
So pulling it together, reference data gives us the valid classifications, the context,
The codes, the categories, the links to the outside world.
and master data gives us that consistent single view of our core business things, customers, products.
Exactly. Our core entities, they're distinct, yes, but deeply connected. You often use reference data within your master data records, right? To classify a customer type or specify a product category using standard codes.
Ah, I see. So you can't really have good master data without good reference data.
It's much harder, certainly. They really are both fundamental pillars for getting that strategic advantage from your data. They drive better business outcomes.
It really sounds like getting reference and master data right isn't just like a back office IT task.
Not at all.
It's the foundation. It's what makes everything else, analytics, reporting, AI, actually work reliably.
Absolutely. It's that bedrock of trustworthy information. Without it, you're building on shaky ground. With it, you enable smarter decisions across the whole organization.
A crucial foundation indeed. Well, this has been really insightful.
Glad we could dig into it.
Don't forget to subscribe, and don't hesitate to tell us in the comments what topics are important for you.